A kilo of whale meat can cost up to $100. It's fair to say hunting a whale is like chasing buried treasure. But it takes patience, as the voyage can last several months. The crew took shifts looking for whales, from dawn to dusk daily. Whalers used binoculars to spot tails, blowholes, or spouts. Unspotted, they'd launch the hunting boat and give chase. The crew would row towards the whale, following captain's orders. They paddle fast and quiet to avoid scaring the whale away. Close enough, a man would harpoon the whale's blubber to snag it. The crew's main goal was to exhaust the whale completely when the whale tired. The crew pulled the rope to bring the boat closer to their prey. The harpooner then thrust a lance into the whale's heart or lungs. On land, they're killed with traditional knives. Blades 16 to 19 centimeter long, about 6.3 to 7.5 inches. Burrowies pilot whale hunting, or grind a drap. Starts when locals spot a pod near the islands. Local men then boarded their boats to intercept the animals. Making loud noises, hunters herd whales to a bay or estuary, where they beached or get trapped. They often don't beach or swim in water shallow enough for hunters to stand, are pulled ashore, usually by ropes attached to steel hooks, embedded in their sides, heads, or necks. Nearly 900 whales were hunted commercially worldwide in 2022. Dolphins are also hunted using this method. Stats show over 80,000 dolphins are hunted commercially yearly, including accidental catches. Despite controversy, Norway and Japan still hunt endangered whales and dolphins. Hunted fish are lined up and slaughtered by local hunters and families. Each hunter and family gets an equal share of meat and fat. As non-commercial, some meat is sold to local eateries. About 100 million sharks are caught globally each year. Longlining is the main shark catching method in the Atlantic and Gulf. Fishermen sail to shark feeding grounds and prep their gear. Long lines have 600, 800 hooks on a main line baited every 10 meters, spanning kilometers. Bait is usually mackerel or other bloody fish to lure these predators. The line soaks overnight when sharks are most active and feeding. Between Java and Sumatra, tribal fishermen risk lives to catch sharks. Elsewhere, machines and booms safely hoist sharks aboard. The main line connects to a hydraulic machine. This machine pulls up the main line with hooked shocks. Anglers also use drift gill nets, creating a wall to catch fish. These nets can stretch from 4,800 to 6,000 feet in length. They are set at night and soaked until early morning. Each are hauled aboard in the net and removed on deck. For larger catches, the net's pulled slowly to secure and hoist fish. Fishing season typically runs from March to August. Catches include hammerheads and grays, but sometimes great whites. The ocean's fiercest sharks are also caught. Sharks caught range from 110 to 176 pounds, but some can weigh up to 102 pounds. Many fishers prefer finning sharks, overtaking the whole animal, as fins can fetch up to $500 per pound. They often keep just the fins, discarding the rest back into the ocean to save space. On shore, these fins are dried and processed into gelatinous soup, a status symbol in many Asian cultures. Shark finning is highly controversial. Finned sharks face a painful death, bleeding heavily and unable to swim when thrown back. Marlin fishing in Kona, Hawaii is year-round, with peak season from June to September. Marlins over 1,000 pounds have been caught here, boosting the Hawaii International Marlin Tournament's reputation in August. Rod and reel fishing is the most popular and effective method in Kona. This involves trolling a lure behind a moving boat at 10 knots, mimicking prey to attract marlin. There are two types of bait: live and artificial. Artificial lures often help anglers fish faster by mimicking a school of baitfish. Marlins are known for incredible speed, generating over 800 pounds of drag on a fishing line. However, they tire over time, their pulling force gradually decreasing as they fight the angler. Anglers use reel drag settings to create friction, slowing the fish over 30 minutes to tire it out. Kona is the only place in Sariwa for commercial marlin fishing. Japan also sells marlin commercially, with longline fishing as the most common method. This technique uses a miles-long main line with many branches snoods, each ending in a baited hook. Fish are brought aboard, sometimes using specialized lifting equipment. Once caught, marlin is processed on board or transported ashore for further processing. Tuna is the fourth largest commercial fish I want to mention on this list. Many types of tuna are caught, but the largest is the bluefin tuna. Each can weigh 496 to 551 pounds on average and be 6.6 to 8.2 feet long. Japanese fishermen often use long line fishing. To catch tuna, they use a main fishing line, stretching 30 miles with over 2,000 hooks on it. Squid and mackerel are two of the most common baits used. This method let fishers catch 661.3 m, tons of skipjack and 21 m, pounds of bluefin in 2022. On fishing boats, tuna is bled, gutted, then stored in cold seawater tanks or frozen. A top-quality bluefin tuna can be worth thousands, so it's handled with great care. In 2019, a 608-pound bluefin tuna sold for about $3.1 million. So what's the smallest tuna in the ocean? The striped bonito is the smallest tuna, but makes up 70% of Pacific tuna catch. They often travel in large schools near the surface, so Persicinas are used. Fishers lower a 1.5 kilometer long net, creating a wall around the striped bonito school, and close the net to trap fish in a smaller area. A smaller net, called a braille net, collects fish from the larger net. This net opens at the bottom, releasing fish into ship boxes, holding up to 27,000 pounds each. Filipino fishermen catch 484 million pounds of tuna yearly. Using this method, this label in New York might trick you into thinking it's wild salmon. But it's actually raised in large enclosures, sometimes in or mimicking the ocean. China is the world's largest producer using this farming model. Today we'll explore how China processes millions of tons of salmon, catfish, and tilapia yearly. While wild-caught salmon now represents only 10% of China's market, the rest is farmed salmon. Most farmed salmon in China is raised in indoor, freshwater facilities, primarily located in the northern regions. The largest cold-water fish farm in northern China is in Shanxi province. Here, salmon grow for 3 years and are harvested at about 3.5 kilos. In Xinjiang Robotic Systems, clean fish tanks, maintaining clear water for optimal salmon growth. As a result, farm-raised salmon reach 4 to 6 kilos at harvest. In 2024, this farm harvests 9 tons of salmon daily. China's salmon industry integrates farming, processing, and cold transport in one place. It takes just 15 minutes from when the fish arrives to when it's filleted. That's why in only 12 hours, fresh salmon fillets are ready to serve in Beijing and Shanghai restaurants. China's appetite for salmon has skyrocketed. In 2023, China's domestic salmon consumption hit 110,000 tons, with the food industry gobbling up 90% of it. The country is also diving into ocean salmon farming in the Yellow Sea. This groundbreaking facility launched in 2023, and 30 meters undersea can house 300,000 Atlantic salmon. In its recent harvest, the farm yielded 15,000 salmon, setting the stage for 1,500 tons annually. That's why China is now a top exporter of salmon fillets. Processing salmon fillets for export adheres to the strictest quality standards. Fish undergo meticulous filleting, organ and fin removal followed by thorough washing. Flesh is separated from bones and skin in a controlled, refrigerated environment. Fillets are carefully washed with diluted salt water to eliminate any lingering odors. The pellets are then vacuum sealed in special cold rooms using waterproof, antibacterial packaging. In 2023, China exported 57,000 tons of frozen salmon fillets to US and EU markets. Did you know your salmon might be mislabeled? Farm-raised salmon is sometimes sold as wild, costing over twice as much. Catfish native to the Mekong Basin are a vital food source for local communities. Vietnam has LED catfish production for decades. China saw its potential and set up farms in southern regions like Guangdong, Ruzhou, and Hainan. as catfish mature after 8. 10 months weighing 1.2 kilo. They're not fed for 3 days before harvest to clear their digestive system and prevent spoilage during transport. In Guangdong, catfish are usually harvested in November to avoid winter. Chinese catfish farms boast impressive yields, with some producing up to 5 tons per acre. The harvest is typically done by experienced teams of 30-40 people. Using large nets, they meticulously surround the fish. The nets are slowly pulled to shore, carefully guiding fish to designated collection points. China consumes over 300,000 tons of farmed catfish yearly after harvest. Fresh catfish is transported to processing facilities. Fish are meticulously selected and sorted. Based on size and quality, they're moved to the catfish processing line. Workers fillet, cut and shape them into butterfly cuts as ordered. Byproducts like heads, bones, skin, fins, organs, and fat aren't wasted. It is transformed into fish oil, fish meal, collagen, and other useful materials. In this massive factory, 150 tons of catfish are processed daily. A dried catfish mouth has an export value of up to $58,000 per ton. The EU, Japan, and South Korea are among the top destinations for processed catfish from China. Beyond the 2 fish I just mentioned, China has become the world's leading tilapia exporter, representing 33 to 50% of the global market share. In 2022, the country's tilapia exports reached nearly 430,000 tons, generating an impressive revenue of about $1.4 billion. China's tilapia farms are mainly located in the southern provinces of Guangdong, Hainan, and Guangxi, where favorable climate and abundant water resources provide an ideal environment for tilapia farming. Tilapia is typically harvested at 8 months old, when reaching a marketable size of over 0.5 kilo per fish. The harvesting process can be done in 2 ways: full tank harvest or partial harvest. Partial harvesting involves selectively removing some tilapia, leaving smaller, younger fish to grow. This is often done with nets, carefully pulled to minimize stress and prevent injuries. Strong fishers slowly pull the large net to gather fish in one spot, then use a small basket to bring them ashore. Old tank harvesting involves draining it and collecting all tilapia at once, usually when market demand is high, and to prepare for a new fish crop. Chinese tilapia, about 10 to 15 tons per hectare. Once harvested, tilapia are sorted by size and placed in a continuous flow water system to empty their stomachs. They are then immediately transported to processing facilities in refrigerated trucks to maintain freshness and quality. A worker uses a specialized knife to cut the fish's throat. Some companies use a machine to stun fish without bleeding. They are then processed and washed to remove any remaining blood slime and impurities. After that, some fish are quickly frozen, vacuum packed to create premium fresh fish products. Old tilapia sold fresh or frozen, with or without scales based on market demand. They are great grilled, roasted, fried, or in various dishes. China's tilapia industry focuses on exports, reaching markets worldwide. Their tilapia products go to over 100 countries, including the US, EU, Japan, and South Korea.